In Parshat Mishpatim, the Jewish people stand at Har Sinai and accept the Torah, saying the phrase Na'aseh v'nishma. There is a lot of commentary about the plot and chronology issues surrounding this phrase, such as Rashi's interpretation, where they said it before receiving the Torah. I, however, will be focusing on the phrase itself and its literal and underlying meanings. Previously in the Parsha, Bnei Israel accepts the laws that Moshe tells them with just the word Na'aseh. They add v'nishma after Moshe writes down all of the commandments that he had just spoken out. What does the addition of v'nishma tell us about Bnei Israel and their state of mind? The change points to the importance of understanding as well as action. Whereas earlier, they were only focused on action, they now see how you need to be aware of what you're doing and say, we will do what we understand. The action aspect in Judaism is very important, but this is explaining how grasping and appreciating that action is a component as well. In addition to that contrast, I want to understand the phrase on its own. If you think about it, wouldn't it make more sense to say, we will listen and then we will act? How can you act if you don't hear what you're supposed to be doing first? When I studied this in school, we learned that they phrased it like that to show their full trust in God in a complete, maybe blind faith sort of way. I do acknowledge that interpretation, but I also want to look at it from a different perspective. Sforno writes, Na'aseh v'nishma, a reference to action designed to ensure that they could obey God's directives without thought of any reward that might be in store for them by doing this. Not only does this interpretation make sense in context, but it also resonates with me in present circumstances. In high school, especially when thinking about college and applications, we often think about doing things for a reward. We take what we're supposed to do, or that we know is the right thing to do, and do it for some ulterior reason. Some examples are chesed, which we do in sophomore year because we have to, or when we join a club because we think it will look good on our college application. As mentioned, actions are the main part, so at least you're achieving that aspect of it. But we also have to understand why we're doing that action and then try to do it for the right reasons. My classmates and I, as well as everyone, should take this idea of Na'aseh v'nishma, doing what we're told without any thought of reward, and work on trying to implement it into our lives. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.